Hello, and welcome back to the She is Courageous podcast. Now, here's a question for you. Have you, to all intents and purposes, ticked all the boxes? I know so many women, and I'd probably put myself in this category at points as well, where we've built the business or we've landed the role that we were after, we've got the house, maybe you've raised a family too, we all know I didn't do that. You've ticked all the boxes in terms of what you set out to do. Have you got what you said you wanted? Now, I'm not suggesting for a second you don't still have things on the list, right? But I just want you to think about all the things you've got that were on the list of the things you wanted to achieve. Whether it's the car, the house, the material things, the handbags, the shoes, etc., the hubby, the children, the holidays. I find so many people, when they really think about it, they go, oh, God, I've ticked all the boxes. Why doesn't it feel amazing? This episode today is for you, if you're nodding while I'm saying that. This is about when everything looks good from the outside, and I don't mean to everybody else, I mean to yourself. And you feel like you should feel great. You feel like you should be grateful, you should feel like you should be fulfilled, you should be settled, you shouldn't be saying, I still want more. But the thing is, I want to give you permission, to give yourself permission today for this. You can love your life and still feel a bit disconnected from it. You can be really proud of your business and still question if it fits anymore, if it's what you'd hoped it would be. You can have everything that you once dreamed of and still feel like something's missing. And it doesn't make you ungrateful. It just makes you honest. So I guess I want to start today by asking that question. Have you ticked all the boxes but found yourself thinking, I don't feel either like I thought I would, or I don't feel like I think I should? And you know how I feel about the word should? Because the real question underneath all of this is, are you clear what success means for you right now? Now, the thing is, we don't like to talk about this, okay? We don't like to talk about questioning the dream, especially if we've achieved it. I think there's a very fine line between being really, really focused on what you want to achieve and being so focused you don't allow yourself to just check in on whether you still want to achieve that, or if you have achieved it, whether it's what you actually want now. And the reason we don't like to question it is because it can feel indulgent, selfish. It can feel a little bit overdramatic. Let's not pretend that everybody gets to say, I've ticked all the boxes. We're living in a world where a lot of people are not able to say that, might never be able to say that. There is a lot of bad stuff around us, and it can feel really, what's the right word? It can feel wrong to question the dream that you once had that you maybe have achieved because it doesn't feel like you thought it was going to. And I think there's so much pressure to perform gratitude when you have it good. Like, people talk about gratitude all the time. Believe me, I'm a huge believer of the power of gratitude. But I think we've got to a bit of a place as well, like everything, there's a tipping point. And I think that high functioning women, of which so many of my world are, we've been taught to stay focused, stay grateful and keep going. We've been taught that it's almost seen as flaky, scattergun if you move the goalposts again. And so what we do is we just tell ourselves it's a phase. Like, I remember, just had a little flashback of memories. I spent 25 years in the corporate world and I changed jobs a lot. And it wasn't because I was unhappy in certain jobs. Almost every, I think probably once I left a role because I wasn't happy, if I'm really honest with myself now. But almost 90% of my career moves were because someone came along and offered me another opportunity, which at the time felt like the next step, a better step. And yet so many people would make comment on how I was always changing my job. And they would ask whether I was unhappy, whether it was just I got bored, and it wasn't in any of those things. It was that I was always striving for more, but it was being questioned. I wanted more because I wanted more success and all the things that I decided at that time were success to me. But I got questioned and I got challenged around whether that was the right thing to do. And I was, I was literally like, oh, she's off again. Like it was a really bad thing. I think we've been conditioned to tell ourselves we should just be happy with what we've got. And particularly then we have a bit of a toxic piece around gratitude where we should be really grateful for what we've got. You can be. I'm really grateful for what I've got. Doesn't mean that right now it's enough. And let's talk about why that comes out. Because what we do is, instead of having these really honest conversations with ourselves, let alone with anyone around us, we push down that feeling of this isn't enough, or it feels like I'm just being, indulgent or selfish. And we just keep moving on to the next goal on the same path. Because keeping going is often safer than pausing long enough to say, hang on, do I even want this anymore? Because it's really, really scary to say that. It takes real courage to put a stake in the ground and go, hang on a second, am I going where I want to go? Am I moving in the direction that I actually want to move in now? Now, I just want to kind of be really clear. I just think this is about evolution. And I don't mean in the big kind of evolution of the world. I mean, I kind of do a little bit, but I mean your evolution. What's probably going on underneath is you've changed. But if you've changed, which, by the way, you will have done, we're all changing all the time. We are all literally not the people that we were. So if you've changed, if your life is different, if you feel different, if you've moved through a different decade in terms of age, or you've had things happen, but if you've changed and your business hasn't, or the fundamentals of your life and how you live it haven't, or your goals haven't, there's going to be some misalignment there. Or you're operating from a definition of success that made sense 5 years ago, but actually no longer fits. I was having this conversation with one of my friends recently about how when I came into running my own business, I was always ambitious. I still am, by the way. Got big goals, very clear on some of the things that we want to achieve. Some things have shifted and changed. But I very quickly got swept up in not only, you've got to make your corporate salary, which, was a big goal for me. And I was really, really pleased when I made that. But then it becomes, but you look around you and there's all these people in the online space making millions. And so you start telling yourself that's what you want. I did. I told myself I wanted to be a millionaire. I don't want to be a millionaire anymore. Well, I kind of do, but in a different way, actually. And that's the point. That definition of success that made sense 3-4 years ago to me doesn't fit anymore because my priorities have changed. The things that I want to feel as well as do have changed. So if you've changed, but your business hasn't, or your life hasn't, or your goals haven't, there's going to be misalignment. You're not going to feel like it's all as you want it to be. If you are still holding up a life that doesn't reflect your current identity, there's going to be misalignment. That's disconnection, misalignment. Disconnection is a sign, not a failure, a sign. Now, really simplistically, our brains normalise what we once wanted. The high of achieving doesn't last because with every level of achievement, that becomes our new normal. If you think about where you are now versus where you were a year ago, if you think about some of the things you do now, can do now, step into now, that you wouldn't have even dared to dream of. But actually, if we don't redefine success, we just keep chasing more and feeling less. Let's be really clear, the high of achieving doesn't last if you're not achieving what you really want. But if you don't give yourself a chance to really consider what is it I really want, then you're just going around in the wrong loop because you're working really hard. That might not be the case actually, but you are, when I use that phrase, I don't mean you're working really hard literally. I mean you're working on achieving things that actually won't give you the fulfillment because they're not really the thing that you want anymore. I'm really hoping this makes sense. So maybe you have got what you thought you wanted. Maybe you've got what you absolutely wanted at a point in time. But the real question is, are you still the woman who wanted it? That's what I want to let hang for a second. Are you still the woman who wanted all the things that you've currently got and achieved? And if not, what needs to change? So I bring it back to that core question. Are you really clear on what success means for you now? Now, one of the things that I think really challenges us in these scenarios is guilt. And, we are not silly women, we are smart women. And I think very often we say stay stuck. That was a bit of a mouthful, that. We stay stuck because we feel guilt. Guilt for questioning what we've built, what we've created, what we've achieved. Guilt for wanting different when we already have so much to the outside world. Guilt for feeling restless when we're supposed to feel grateful. And so in the guilt, what we do is we just get busy again. If I think about business owners, female founders, when this happens in business, and there's a lot going on right now, we've had this year of the shedding and people are talking about the year of the fire horse, and there's been a lot of people in my world, and I'm probably one of them, who's really felt that there's some shifts needed, wanted. But actually that's quite challenging to face into. It can be quite scary to face into. So what we do instead, notice I just said what we do instead is we get busy again. We tweak the current offers, or we launch something new because that'll give us what we're missing, surely. Because it's easier to do that than to feel the uncertainty, but equally because it's easier to do that in the current version of things than to lean into what does the next version look like? What does the new version look like? What does the shift really mean? Now, gratitude is an incredible practice and it's an incredible feeling. But gratitude is only gratitude if it's really gratitude. What did I just say? Let me be really clear about that. Gratitude isn't a cage. It doesn't mean you can't want more. It doesn't mean you can't want different. It just means you appreciate what you've built, even as you evolve beyond it. I actually remember someone saying to me once, I really struggle with the word gratitude because I feel like there's so much pressure on it. And now I'm saying this, I understand what she meant. She talked about appreciation. She talked about thankfulness. I think too many brilliant women are performing a version of success that they built, even though they know it's no longer working. And they're scared to admit it. Because admitting it might mean facing, did I build the wrong thing? What will people think if I make a change now? Will I be as successful as that again? What if what I'm now saying I want doesn't work? Now, what I want to say right now is none of this is about starting over. And even if it is, it's not really starting over. You're never starting over. You're never back at square one. That's that phrase, isn't it? It's never that. It's realigning. It's course correcting. That's a phrase I use an awful lot with my clients, with the collective members. Course correction. It's realigning with you. So I'm not asking anyone to make any big decisions. I'm not suggesting you do that at all. I just want you to really sit with this and see what it brings up for you. I want you to give yourself permission, if you need to stop pretending this version of success still fits. I want you to know you can make different decisions without burning everything down. So it might be worth just asking yourself, I'm just going to invite reflection this week. What part of your work or your life still lights you up? Start there. Just be really sure about what does light you up, what does bring you joy, what does make you feel great. And then ask yourself, what part of my life or my business feels like it's a bit of a performance that I'm still keeping up? Now, if you don't have an answer to that, that's absolutely fine. This isn't for everyone. Not everyone is in this place, but there are a lot of people I'm seeing and hearing that are. And this is my permission slip to you to just go, okay, what if I decided to think differently? Now, the really key question is, what definition of success am I don't like the word chasing. What definition of success am I working towards? And is that actually my definition of success right now? It can be really liberating to acknowledge where you've outgrown something and give yourself permission to admit that, because when you do, that's when you'll realise what the next step is for you. As I said, you don't need to blow all this up overnight, right? This is not about pivoting overnight. This is not about ripping up everything you've got. It's not about burning down businesses. It's not about leaving relationships. It's just asking you to ask yourself, what does success look for me like? Let's ask that question again. What does success look like for me now? Because in that, I want you to be really proud of what you have achieved. I've had so many wonderful moments with clients over the last few years where actually the biggest light bulb has been, oh my God, I've achieved it. I'm where I wanted to be. And that's why they feel stuck and why they feel lost, because what they were doing was still working towards something they'd told themselves 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago was the goals, not realising, not acknowledging, not giving themselves the pride and pat on the back for you're there, you've got that. And now you get the chance to go, okay, am I happy here? Is this enough? And it's okay if it is, but it's also okay if you go, actually, no, it's not. Or it's not what I thought it would be. Or I just want more. So what does success look like for you right now? And what might need to shift so that your life reflects that? Success that doesn't feel like yours isn't success. Now, if I use an analogy, I'd say success that doesn't feel like yours isn't success. It's a costume, it's a mask, and you don't need to keep wearing it just because it did fit once. You can go and buy a new outfit. You can take off the mask and be whatever you wish to be. I'm telling you now, you've grown, you've changed, you've evolved, and it might well be that what you therefore want from life, from business, from relationships has also grown, changed, and evolved. So the real question is, are you ready to lead your life and your work from this version of you? Become that really, I was about to use the word embody, and that doesn't feel like a word I would usually use, but really step into that version of you and be clear about what she wants, where she's going next. What does success mean for you right now? I would love to know what this episode brought up for you. I would love for you to send me a message, tag me on Instagram if actually this has really got you realising that your definition of success has changed and therefore you're ready to own that and step up, step out, step forward to that. Let me know what this episode has got you thinking about. Give me a tag on the socials, and remember, as always, all of this takes courage. I say it all the time, this stuff is simple, that does not mean it's easy. But I also know that she is courageous and she is you. I'll see you next week on the She is Courageous podcast.